So whether you already have an American Express credit card here in the UK or whether you're thinking of getting one for the first time, in this video, I'm going to take you through the ones which are going to earn you the most money, because that's the whole point of getting an Amex, which they're often referred to as well. Get one of these American Express credit cards. Every time you spend some money on it, every £4 you spend, you will earn either cashback or a point. And I'll take you through those different options as well. And it's very, 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 very simple. That's simply it. You spend money, you earn some money. And as long as you're doing this on stuff which you would normally spend, you're not just tempted to spend money on stuff to earn points. It's just everyday spending, you're going to get some passive income back. And we're talking potentially, 100 quid, couple of £100 maybe if you're a really big spender every year. And if you are new to Amex, and we'll get to that in a second as well, you're also going to be eligible for a welcome bonus, which could be worth, well, almost 200 quid on top of the other cashback you'll earn as the year goes on. So the reason I'm doing this video now, though, is because there have been some changes. The card which I've recommended for a long time, the best one out there, was a cashback one. It was this one, the Platinum Cashback credit card from American Express. It had a sister card, still has a sister card, which is not quite as good, but pretty similar. The American Express Cashback Platinum Everyday card. They are great cards, but as I mentioned in one of my monthly updates recently, the rates they're giving you on the cashback are changing, and sadly it means that they're no longer my top pick. So that's why I'm doing this video now, to take you through what ones I think you should be getting, whether, as I say, as a new card, or if you've got one, maybe you want to change the card you've got, particularly if you've got one of those Platinum Cashback credit cards. So let's kick off though, just talking about the difference, as I mentioned, between cashback and points, and the different types of points that you've got with American Express. Cashback is, as the name suggests, when you spend money, you get money back, you get cash back. Now with those cards, again, it is those two Platinum cards that I mentioned before, that money is sent to your card as credit on the 12-month anniversary. So you have to wait a year to get it, but it's paid there. And essentially that means that the money you earn, you can use on anything you like. It's something you spend on that card, then that credit is there to take it off. So there are no restrictions as long as the retailer takes American Express. And that has some huge benefits, some huge bonuses, which is why it has, until this point, say, been my top option. The other ones, the other American Express cards, will give you points, and there are different points. There are the American Express membership reward points, or Amex membership reward points. Now you can use them for a few different things. You can use them to pay off your bill, but the rate you get for that is about equivalent of 0.45%. So it's not the best way to use your points. You can convert them into gift cards at places like Amazon. Now that has a sort of transfer value of 0.5%, which isn't too bad compared to non-Amex cards, but it isn't as good as what you'd get even with the rate cuts on those Platinum cards. However, earlier this year, and I have spoken about this in another video as well, a partnership between Nectar and Avios, the air miles sort of people from British Airways, came into play, which meant you could convert Nectar points into Avios points and vice versa. And this actually gave an increase, probably, it wasn't intended, but an increase for those membership reward points as well. Because rather than converting them straight into Nectar points at 0.5%, which you can still do, if you convert those Amex points into Avios points and then convert them into Nectar points, they have the equivalent value of 0.8%. Now this, don't worry if this gets a bit confusing, but it's all kind of comes into play when you're comparing which card is best for you. So that's the American Express reward cards. You can also get Nectar points. There is an Amex Nectar card, and we'll get to that in a minute. You can also get Avios points, just directly straight into Avios. And you can also get a couple of hotel-based ones. So the kind of loyalty schemes there to earn points to use at those, and maybe you get sort of a few other benefits as well. They're your different options. Now, I am not a huge fan of those hotel ones. I'm not a huge fan of the Avios ones either, because you are generally restricting how you can use them. Now, obviously, yes, the Avios points, you can convert them into Nectar points. So that has a bit of a, I think it's well worth taking that into account as well. But I would much rather have that flexibility to use them as I wish. Even if I wanted to use them for travel, I know right now we're still not necessarily doing that again, but if I had those Avios points, yes, I might be able to use them to get some cheap flights, but you are quite restricted on when you can use them, what kind of flights, what time, what seats, all that kind of stuff, what routes, all that comes into play. I'd rather have points that I can use, money that I can use for anything else, yeah? And look for sales and offers elsewhere that don't require those points, particularly the hotel ones and also the Avios ones. Now the Nectar ones, whether you're going directly earning Nectar points or whether you are converting Amex rewards to Avios or Avios ones to Nectar ultimately, again, you might think, well, I don't really shop at Sainsbury's. or Argos or eBay or Habitat. And you might think, well, do I really want to have those Nectar points? And I agree, that is a bit of a frustration. However, as long as you do have a Sainsbury's near you, you can just use it on your groceries. You can just use it on the food and drink, things that you actually need. You're not having to kind of, say, put them towards flights, which might not be the best value, whatever they might be. That is a decent way to spend them. Okay, so as long as you actually do that. And there are other ways you can boost Nectar points, not fantastically, but sometimes you might even be able to increase how much they are worth. So I'm coming at this from a point of view of, if cashback was best, go for that. Then I would look at the points that I can use in different kind of retailers, and ideally the Nectar ones, as long as you're happy to use them with Nectar retailers. So that's where I'm coming from on this video. So where do we start? What are the best cards on those kind of criteria? Well, if you are new to American Express, or you haven't had one in your name, a personal card in your name in the last 24 months, so the last 2 years, then you are eligible for a welcome bonus. This is fantastic. I love this, right? The terms used to be slightly different. It used to be you could get one if you haven't had a card in your name for 6 months. So I used to have a card, have it for a year or whatever it is, get my bonus points, cancel it, wait 6 months, open a new one, get another bonus and do that. So I regularly cycled through those cards and I racked up a nice amount of extra cash on top of the money I was earning anyway. So that has changed now. It has been for the last couple of years. You have to have not had a card for 24 months. But if that is the case, then you have a number of different options. In fact, most of the cards will give you some kind of welcome bonus. The best one, I think, in terms of the highest earning one, is the American Express Preferred Rewards Gold credit card. Now, this one will earn you those Amex membership reward points that I mentioned before. You will get 20,000 of them if you spend £3,000 in the first 3 months. Now, that plus the points you'll earn just for the normal spending you're doing, that in that £3,000, 1 point per pound spend, means in that first 3 months, if you convert them to Avios and then convert them into Nectar points, it's worth 184 quid. You cannot beat that. That is a huge, huge, huge amount for you to get from your spending just in that first 3 months. Now, the caveat here, the big caveat here is if you spend even 1 penny less than £3,000 in that first 3 months, you do not get that bonus. So if you don't think you're going to be able to spend 3 grand in the first 3 months, then you might want to look at one of the alternative cards. That could well be going back to those platinum cards that I mentioned before, because the lovely thing about the welcome bonus there, although you'll earn less, you'll get it on your spend as long as it's under, depending which card you go for, 2.5 grand or 2 grand. So even if you spent £1,500 in those first 3 months, you'd still get, on these cards, the rate is 5% back for those that first pay. So you're not necessarily going to get the most you could get, but you're going to get better than others. However, I would suggest that if you know you have a big purchase coming up where you are going to be spending up to 3 grand or 2.5 grand or 2 grand, again, depending on the card, to wait for your application so you can really take advantage of that spending and get the most money back that you can. So I've got much more information about the American Express Preferred Rewards Gold credit card in a separate review, which I recommend you check that one out. It's also vital to say here that this one does have a fee in year 2, and it's a huge fee of 140 quid, right? So this is not a card for more than 12 months. Although it has a few little extra freebies and stuff, for most of us, they are not going to be worthwhile. This is about getting that welcome bonus in the first 3 months. After that, you'll earn 1 point for every pound you spend. You can convert that, works out 0.8%. That beats the 0.75% that you get with that American Express Platinum Cashback credit card. So it is a decent earner as well. Not the best, and we'll get to that in a second. But anyway, that's it. If you're new, I would absolutely go for that one. Now, if you already have an American Express credit card, then you are eligible for a welcome bonus. Okay, you can't do that. So then, actually, that gold card is not your top pick, even for 1 year. The best one I would go for here is the American Express Nectar credit card. This gives you 2 Nectar points for every £1 you spend anywhere, not just in Sainsbury's and Nectar stores, anywhere you go, as long as they take Amex credit cards. Now, Nectar gets confused. They're going to have got a whole video about Nectar points and getting the best out of them. So if you're not sure about it, you can do check that one out. But essentially, you're getting the equivalent of 1% back. This is the highest paying Amex reward or cashback credit card after those changes come into play. Although the American Express Platinum Cashback credit card does offer 1.25% when you earn over 10 grand, you still have to be spending a lot of money in a year for that to kind of go past what you'd get with the Nectar. Now, if you think that's going to be close and you'd rather have that cash rather than Nectar points, then absolutely, that is still a good card to consider. But I do think if you just want to earn the most number of points you can and you're happy with Nectar, go for the Amex Nectar credit card. Now this one also has a fee in year 2. In year 1 it is wiped out, it's 25 quid. So in year 2 you might think, do I want to keep earning this one? Similarly, as same as been in the past with some of the other cards that fees come into play in the second year, do a little bit of maths, work out exactly how much you have spent in a year and see what that is and see how it compares to some free cards that I'll get to in a minute. However, in most instances, if you're using this for your kind of normal daily spending, your supermarket shopping, your petrol, your train travel, hotels, if you're going on holiday, any other bits you buy, most retailers again will take American Express. You are going to be spending enough on that card to earn as much as you would, even if you're knocking the fee off, as you would if you had a card with a lower rate but didn't have a fee. Does that make sense? Okay. I should say, talk about those welcome bonuses. The Nectar one, again, if you are new to American Express, it does have a welcome bonus, which isn't worth as much money, but the threshold is just $2,000 in 3 months. So again, you might want to consider that as an alternative if that $3,000 with the Preferred Rewards Gold card is too much. Now, the last option are the fee-free cards. Now, on the whole, I think these probably aren't going to be the ones you want to go for, because even when the fee is factored in, the higher rate of cashback or rewards that you get from those other cards we've already mentioned will probably mean you'll still earn more money. Certain thresholds you have to meet, but again, you're probably likely to earn more money. But there are a couple of reasons why the free one might be a decent option. The first one is, if you want to ditch that American Express Preferred Rewards Gold card after year 1, when that 140 quid fee comes into play, if you close it down straight away, you will lose any points you haven't already spent or converted to something else. Okay, so you don't want to do that. However, if you get the free American Express Rewards credit card, then you can keep those points active and alive. You don't even have to use this other card if you don't want to, but it will keep those points alive. So that's worth considering. And if you do use it, you'll earn 1 membership reward point for every £1 you spend, which is same as the gold card, 0.5% if you exchange it for something like Amazon or straight to Nectar points. But if you convert it via Avios to Nectar, it's worth 0.8%. So it's still actually a decent earner compared to some of the other ones out there. Not as good as the Nectar card, but it's still a decent option. It's also one that you might want to think about if you're not spending a huge amount on your cards, because there are certain sort of thresholds where those fees that come into play will wipe out how much you earn. So if you are a low spender, then this is a much, much better option, not only because you can earn more via that conversion to Avios to Nectar points, but the American Express Platinum Cashback Everyday credit card, which is also free, that one has a minimum spend of £3,000 a year, plus you won't earn as much money either. So this is a good option if you kind of just want to have one available to you and not necessarily spend a huge amount on it. And of course, there are all these fantastic things that often get extra promos you can get with Amex, like Shop Small or other kind of in-credit offers and deals, which means it's worth having one in your wallet from time to time. Now, very quickly here, I do want to mention the BA, British Airways American Express credit card. Now, this one is fee-free as well. There are some changes happening with this one as well. And essentially, this one will earn you 1 Avios point per £1 spent. Now, again, if you're collecting Avios points, you can do it however you want to use those, or you can convert it to Nectar points to give it the value of 0.8% cashback equivalent, right? As long as you will happy to use them as Nectar points. So that's the same as the other card. What it also does come with is a companion voucher where you can, as long as you've got enough points to use them on a flight, you get a free ticket for someone else. And that sounds fantastic. So you might think, why don't I recommend this one over the rewards card if they're both free? Well, essentially, it's going to be very, very difficult to spend that companion voucher. And in fact, if you are spending enough money on the credit card in order to get that companion voucher, then you're probably better off using either the paid for BA card, which again, I'm not a huge fan of, but you'll probably get a better return out of it, or one of those other cards that come with a fee. So I think it's just, don't do that. Ignore that. Stick with the rewards card because again, you might get a bit more flexibility if you do want to exchange it for something else that isn't Nectar. And also there could be other offers and promos that come with that aren't so sort of restricted and linked through to air travel with British Airways. So there you go, my top 3 American Express cards in the UK. Number 1, if you are new to American Express, it is the Preferred Rewards Gold credit card because of that welcome bonus worth 184 quid in total in those first 3 months. If you already have an American Express card and maybe you're thinking of switching away from that Platinum Cashback credit card or the Platinum Cashback Everyday credit card, then I think you should be looking at the Amex Nectar credit card. It gives you the equivalent of 1% back for every £1 you spend in Nectar points. And if you're after a free card, you don't want to pay a fee in year 2 as time goes on, then I would look at the American Express Rewards credit card. Nice, simple card. You'll still earn some money on it, and it lets you keep points if you're switching down from that gold card. Now, finally, I do want to end on a few top tips for before you apply for that American Express credit card. Number one, make sure that you do an eligibility check. This is so important. You can do this directly on the American Express website, or if you go to a comparison site, you might be able to see your eligibility for all the different Amex Cashback and Reward credit cards. This is basically how likely it is you are to get accepted for that card. The higher that likelihood, the better chance you'll be accepted, the better it is for you to apply. If it's low, you might want to think twice, because if you just apply blind or you apply with a low chance of getting accepted and you get rejected, that can hurt your credit report, which is not a good thing. But then don't click apply from those sites. Instead, go to a cashback site. Quidco or Top Cashback both list most of the cards I've spoken about right now. The rates can change between different sites, so I would check them both. But you can get yourself an extra 5, 10, 20, maybe 30 quid if you're successful in applying for those cards. So that kind of knocks out, in a way, you think about it, technically, that fee for year 2 on some of those cards. So it's a really good extra to get. Occasionally, the refer a friend offer is worth more. So I've got a link for that on the blog, and I'll put it below as well. Check that out. You can see, although it will take you through to one particular card, you can see how many points or how much money you'll get on all the different cards. If there's a promo running, that might be worth more than the cashback sites, but generally I'd go with Top Cashback or Quidco. Now, once you've done that and got accepted, very important with these cards, you need to make sure that you clear the entire balance every single month, because if you get charged interest on this, it wipes out all that cashback, all those points that you're earning. It makes it pointless. So only use it for spending you know you can afford. As I said, things you're going to buy anyway, and make sure you've got enough money in your current account to clear that card every single month. Now, if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any updates, any changes that come along with American Express or any other credit card news, make sure you hit subscribe and that little notification bell for my channel, because every single month I do a credit card news and update video. I do the same for savings and bank account, as well as loads of other personal finance and money saving videos. My name is Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, cheers. And here are a couple more videos you might find interesting.